All right, welcome back. So we had a bit of an informative period where we found out a bit more of the history from perspective. And apparently your sword can also draw spirits out of it occasionally. Pretty damn interesting. So what are you guys all doing now that Whack is conscious but weirdly there but not there?
I look at him and be like, I tried to help.
I'm gonna ask the Skek who just materialized him in front of us.
You see me apologizing to him like
Is there anything that you could do to maybe like help him stay in our plane?
Oh, I'd be okay now. I was just too low on spell points when I summoned Burke. Did Burke make it okay?
Burke made it perfectly fine.
Burke alive?
Burke's alive.
I wasn't sure if I was going to find him live or dead, but spirits help me find him. Help me bring him back.
He's
I summoned
alive
him like spirit, but oh, that hurt.
He's alive, but you're back. And I'm sorry I put you through so much pain.
I'm back.
How was
Pain is
inside
life.
my sword?
Interesting. Lots of spirits. One likes me.
Yeah, I tried to reach into grab them for you, but they were attached.
He clutches his heart for a few moments.
One really
Make a perception
likes him.
check. Anyone else can too.
1.
16. 23.
Okay, you notice that when he clutches and his hand reaches around something, something almost seems to materialize inside of his hand that you can't see, and when he pulls his hand away, it just fades right back as if it was never there.
I think he might have stolen a ghost from you.
There's thousands of women.
Can I check that?
Alright, so what are you guys doing?
I'm trying out my hair cloak and my wool cloak.
Okay.
I don't think I can smell out.
Huh?
I don't think I can get the smell of mold out of either of them.
It's like the next day. It hasn't fully set in yet. It's just starting to.
Can I go over to her clothes and cast Prestidigitation?
Yes. They are perfectly clean.
Can I give you a slight problem? Try not to burn it.
I'm gonna go over to Punk Prestidigitation.
He seems much happier.
When I'm trying to hug you, you're walking away.
I'm gonna actually, before I cast it, I'm gonna use my Speak with Animals. What do you want to smell like?
I want no smell at all.
Smell it.
It's a very light smelly.
Make them smell like cotton. It's close enough to be smelling like nothing.
Well, the saddle itself always smells like lavender.
I'm gonna make them smell like cotton.
Okay. Alright, so are you guys doing anything else?
I was gonna ask if I could try to be able to sword to figure out fighting. That I don't know. I was gonna to see if I could like try to talk to another warrior in this.
You're gonna spend another hour communing with your sword?
And you should be building a raft.
I was gonna say the raft takes priority.
Yeah. But,
Yeah, you can commune while you're on the raft. So you're gonna spend the rest of the day trying to craft up a...
I wanted to see if I could get my nature, like get some
Vines and
vines and
other materials.
decent sized trees, like together. That?
Yeah. Make us roll. We're going to do one roll, add your spell mod, and I'll let you also add performance.
24.
Yeah, it's much nicer than the barge you came here on. More sturdy. Thing's
And
solid as a
There's
freaking rock.
enough room for our mounts too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Solid as sparks.
All right. So while you're
For
doing
shame.
that, do you guys want to do anything? She's spending all day working on building this raft. Burke and Whack are meditating out in a corner, kind of healing and recuperating. Nick goes out foraging and then spends the rest of the day cleaning up the rest of the animals and all their gear. Knack ends up kind of disappearing for a while during the day. Comes back later, hands Nick a bunch of stuff. If anyone wants to pay enough attention as to what's going on, make a perception roll.
I don't make it.
10.
No.
I rolled a 3 as my base. I don't make it.
I'm not watching.
Oh.
Total?
Plus your perception.
Oh, that's my perception. 17.
Okay. You notice that Knack hands off some very nicely polished gems over to Nick with a few pieces of what looks to be silver with a bluish tinge.
I'll ask about it.
Metagame. He has platinum? Oh my. Oh, I just realized we have an earth elemental. We could probably get any element we wanted, including platinum.
And you haven't noticed the Earthbender we've been traveling with for the last 5 sessions that,
Oh, I know.
you know, has been the person who's done stuff like that?
This is driving me nuts.
Heck, he was too distracted.
Chinese.
So what are you doing? Alright. So now it's been 2 hours, so roll 2 more d6.
I'm actually gonna study my Skeksies book, the language one. I'm gonna spend about 2 hours on that.
Okay. Roll 2 Arcana checks.
It's okay, I roll.
So that kind of influences my decision a little bit.
A 17 and an 18.
Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. I need to hear what your rolls were.
I got 9 full points back, so I'm at 25, which is a little over 18.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do with those 7 spell points?
Use them.
Yes,
You could make a light show. Not a tall light show, because we are still hidden, and that's good.
Alright, so you're studying the book. 16 and 17?
17 and 18.
17 and 18. Okay, we'll get back to him since he's still figuring stuff out. So, with that, make another Arcana check for me.
17.
Remember that recipe that you saw, that you tried out, that said something about flight?
Yeah.
Well, you have a much better understanding of the Skeksies language right now, and you realize that the missing key component of it was that you had a feather correct, but it was the feather of a raptor.
Oh. Well, I need a feather of a raptor.
Yep. You also start to understand a little bit of the other arcane sigils that are in there. And it seems to be some type of incredibly complex recipe that involves transmutation and alteration. You're also able to read some of the information in the book, okay, and it seems to be discussing different versions of how to merge life forms and their essences together in order to change portions of their existence or portions of their being. You're nowhere near that yet, but
Eventually.
you're not really grasping the full amount of what's being said in it or the full information of it. It's really complicated and verbose.
Curious question.
It's like hearing about string theory for the first time.
Yeah. When I finish reading the book, will I be able to read through it like completely with nothing wrong? Ooh.
How many hours in are you? Out of the total?
30 out of the 48, so we only need 10 more hours.
Yeah, so you're getting there.
While we're on the raft, I might spend 5 hours one way.
Okay. Alright. Your raft's turning out perfect. Pyro, what are you doing?
Have the fires that I created weighted all, or?
About mid-afternoon, they need a bit of a stoking up. As she's getting close to finishing up the raft.
Or for bleeding some of this,
You can put out fire.
I was
Or eat
thinking
it.
something different, but
Or
okay.
eat it.
I guess I just make the fires raging out of control as we leave and burn this fire to the ground. But hey, I'm just a psycho with the
You are
group.
so destructive and evil.
Yes! I've never denied that.
Leave the stone hut there.
Yeah,
so
we
that way
leave
if
the
we
stone
ever
hut,
need
but we
come back,
don't
have a
want to
place
leave the
go.
If we burn the forest, the swamp down, then, you know, the
talking
hut
about-
will be there.
We're talking
Stone it,
about,
won't
we're talking
burn.
about putting out
With your
fires.
pyro knowledge, it would take a lot to burn this swamp down. There's way too much water. Everything's wet and nasty.
You could just keep the
And that's what
fire.
Sarge
And
feels like going
what
out
other
in
people
the
see as a
swamp
little
and
puddle
gasoline everywhere.
is knee-deep water to you.
To do it.
Everything's muddy. Everything's damp and wet
That'd take a lot
and
of fire.
sticky.
I'm not saying my character has one feelings one way or the other. I'm just saying that that would be his suggestion because why not?
I'm just gonna kind of put my head up. Should we put out the fires? We could just put them out.
Just shrug, sure.
I wanna go back to it.
Okay. And what are you doing?
I
Or
am going.
What'd you
Because
come
I
up
did
with
say
for
I was
numbers?
waiting for the next.
This. So, I am going to try to pick up a stone or small
I
object
have a
moving
dagger.
and imbue it with my Nova spell.
Okay, so that'd be 20 spell points.
Would that be 20?
Yeah, because it's twice the spell cost.
To imbue it?
Yeah.
I thought it was the 3 spell points plus the 10 for the spell.
So that would be 14.
Sure.
Alright.
Okay.
So,
You do you, or you
11.
get a breath.
Alright, into a rock.
Yeah.
Okay, about halfway through, the rock explodes.
Okay.
Okay, and I need you to take,
Kind
let's
of
see, that was 14 spell points, so 1, 7, 13, 14, 18, 24, 28, 32,
What's your
36.
HP?
Huh?
What's your HP?
35.
39, 43, 49, 52,
What happened?
57 points of force damage.
Force.
Yep.
How much is your HP?
35.
How much damage did you just take?
Well over enough to kill me.
So that would bring you to 0 hit points. So all of you see him off to the side. I'm hoping off to the side. Okay, pick up a rock, start channeling energy into it, when the rock explodes in a flash of bright, radiant light. And when the light clears, you just see him laying on charred ground.
Did someone heal him?
Yes. Go see if he's okay.
Yeah. Okay. My character walks forward.
So it didn't just straight up vaporize me. Okay.
You were 3 hit points off from actually being double your HP, therefore permadeath. But just, yeah. 3 HP, and you would have been permadead by law. Anyways, moving on. So I'm going to cast Mend on you. Do I even have to roll for it? It's a cantrip.
Nope, D6.
At least I got rid of those.
You have 5 HP now. And then I'm going to walk away.
Also,
You are in grueling agony, as every bone in your body feels like it's been shattered.
Because it is.
try to heal him some more. I
have
have
no
a healing
healing
move.
magic.
Go for it. So the little guy comes over to you, okay, and you see flames come across his hands as he smiles, reaches out to you. Roll.
But he's also in bustling agony, so I don't think
D6
he's
for it?
moving.
Yep.
I don't think he can do.
No,
Five
And
hit points.
the warmth from the fire of his hands reaches across you, and you gain 6 hit points.
I'm gonna go over.
It feels nice instead of burning.
I'm gonna go over and cure wounds. Which I think is another.
You can do that if you want. I'm sure I can peek.
1d8. I'm helping you. 6.
I want to help, but I can't.
17.
Hey, helping a wounded teammate, still a team building effort. All the team members that could heal, all contributed. Got you back from death.
Okay. As you're starting to sit back up, Whack comes over. Okay. Looks at you with those dark, sunken in orbs that were once his eyes, that you swear are looking right through your soul. A chill goes up your spine. As he reaches out to you, grabs your hair, cuts off a small piece of it, and walks away.
That's not creepy at all.
No, because if you die, he can now resurrect you.
And he starts working on a totem.
Yep. I see this, right? I
Yes.
see him take the hair. Can I do a Arcana check to see what he's doing?
You can.
Exactly? Because I might ask him to make one of me.
He hasn't already.
10.
Yeah, this is not any type of spell that you think you've heard of before. Okay, using hair in a spell is usually for curses, which there were quite a few curses listed for in the old texts in the library. In fact, it's easier to find information on curses than it was to find actual spell information for your actual spell crafting. Most of the curses are complete BS, but a lot of those included hair.
I'm gonna go up to him. What you doing?
So the spell book that I have, that's for Hag. Would it show some of those curses in there?
Yes.
Those would be true curses.
Hi, Harriet. Yo, swamp people. I have no idea who this person is, but nice to see you in chat.
A newbie.
Yeah.
So you just call us swamp people?
Yes, it says, you swamp people.
We're not always in the swamp. We just
Oh.
happen to get stranded here
You get stuck when your boat gets sunk.
by a giant rock that an overpowered,
And we lose a team member.
reanimated tree brought
And then the
back.
other
It wasn't
decides
even a
to
tree yet. It was a
transcend.
reanimated tree.
No, let's pull it back. I did not. I cannot say I lost a party member. I tried to save Berg. I tried to save Knack. I tried to save Whack. I did my damnedest.
You tried.
We all did.
Harriet says, I
No.
love swamps.
Just no.
We don't.
Most of us.
I will give you that. There were others. Not everyone.
Keep an eye out for tadpoles. Oh, you missed it. We were in town with a bunch of them.
They
Yeah.
were so cute, even though they're raised from the day they're born to fight.
No.
I gotta love black markets.
You didn't figure that out till later. You thought they were all heroic.
I know, that was metagaming.
Anywho, back to the situation. Thank you for following, Harriet. So Zarg looks at you and says, I make totem. Okay. he almost go poof and die. And, well, it was really hard to bring Burke back last time. I already made one for him, but now I make one for everyone else so that if I lose you, I can summon you back, and
Does it work with a feather?
I just need a piece of your flesh or body.
Like a small feather off my arm.
Okay. You want to make totem too? You talk spirit, right?
I don't know a lot though. Could you teach me?
Oh, okay. So he sits down and starts to talk to you about the connection of physical form to spiritual form. Okay, and how you can actually link back to a spirit from the physical form of it if you know the proper tricks to. As he's weaving the hair around this piece of dogwood that he picked up. And then after he completes that and continues explaining this to you, he takes your feather and you see him start putting that into this like wooden odd construct and carving stuff into it. And adding a little bit of blood and chanting over it.
His blood or my blood?
His blood.
Okay.
Yeah. He bled over the other one too. You have to bind it to you. So that way the spirit knows that you're the one that caught it. And it has to be spirit that respect you and want to come and help you. Because if spirit no like you, then it no help you. In fact, if spirit no like you, it probably keep following you, causing you trouble until you banish it or make friend again.
You know something I don't know?
Apparently I know many things you not know.
I have a lot to learn, I guess.
Anybody else?
Okay. Wait, I'm still going to go. Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna head up
Yeah.
by
You're
head up
busy.
to that tree and take a perception check to verify there's nothing dangerous.
Good idea, since no one's truly keeping watch.
First stone.
10.
And rare.
Yeah, you don't notice much of anything.
Could I use my light of soul to
So good enough.
regen some health?
Yes. That's something that you could keep active constantly. That was part of the conversation we had earlier,
And you also
remember?
have someone who works with Earth who could probably form one out of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you wanted a helmet, just have Nick
It
or
wouldn't be
Mac, or
taking
whichever
any
one's the
spell points
outbender
because
build
it's just
one.
part of my...
Part of it to have at least purple.
Right.
So then I could naturally heal myself.
So like a crown helmet.
What's the point of being in a swamp if there are
Yeah.
no swamp people, Harriet
I
asks.
wanted a helmet made out of
What was
that
his
or
question?
proportionate.
Harriet, what's the point of being in a swamp if there are no swamp people? We left the swamp town in our last campaign, our last session,
I
or
think
session
so.
before last. And they were trying to make their way out of the swamp when they got attacked
ambushed.
and sunk. So right now, one of them is trying to build a raft in order to go back down the river to change their travel time from 3 days down back to 3 days instead of 2 months through the swamps. And the swamp town was full of frogmen and lizardmen.
Fishman.
Fishmen too, yeah.
There's some kobolds.
Um,
No,
Yeah.
but the kobolds are some type of goblinoid.
Yeah. No, there were some kobolds, there were some
Kobolds.
goblins, there was some chitin,
Turtle people.
yeah, turtles,
I think
Portals.
one.
gnomish,
Gnomish. There were gnomes.
yeah, good old yank cranker,
And giggle.
And giggle.
yeah, giggle yank cranker, and knob yank cranker. I love joke names. Sorry, bad jokes. Anywho, so it's I would say late afternoon by the time you finish the raft. Okay, so that means it's been about 10 hours for you, so 10d6. You want a defiler. You're going to be constantly rolling these,
I'd roll it 5 times.
unless you find like a just open purge.
I already know.
And you are just doing what?
Yes.
Sam's keeping watch.
I gotta keep watch with them.
You want to climb up a tree?
This
No.
time I'm paying attention, and you see a rope lock. You feel it down as I
As you
touch
start
the
climbing the tree, a rope like taps you on the head.
Ouch.
After last time, I figured it was wiser.
I'll climb up the rope.
You grabbing the rope, you reeling him up. He only weighs like
He
30
weighs like
pounds.
30 pounds. Yeah, I'll just pull him up at that point.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Don't actually.
Why?
So I
That's
just really
so
want,
many
and then
fucking points.
pick your foot up as a place
great,
next to me on the tree.
someone
There's a
is
branch that
out
I've been like perched on for like 2 days. Did you explode again? Seriously, how? Thank God I used a cantrip.
I got 43 points.
So, what are you doing with those points?
Could you use your points to grow things?
No.
Sure.
That's not in his wheel well.
I
Post a
can,
note if you don't mind. I did post a note.
I can grow light out of my fingers.
So what are you planning to do with some of those spare spell points? You thought this was a great idea before you thought about the math of it, didn't you?
Yes.
How many spell points did you just get? I actually have to know this.
43.
Is that your total or how many you just gained?
That's how many I just gained. That's not my. I was
Wait.
at 11 before.
43. No, it was another. Well, no, actually, at 10 hours. Yeah, 43 is believable.
It was.
You rolled high for a bunch of those.
It would be 10d6. Yeah, I rolled 2d6 and yep. I rolled pretty good.
So what are you doing with all those spare spell points
Okay.
over these hours?
Take the note, take the note, take the note.
Did you figure out anything that you're doing?
Check your information, and then you can just go blow up a tree.
Using the ultras.
Oh yeah, you're keeping watch with him, that's right. Alright, so you're studying, well actually you only study for 2 hours, so what's the other 8 hours you're doing?
Nap time!
Enchanting
fully
from
rested.
afar.
Yeah, add spell points for range. Give yourself
I guess
3
I'll
spell points to
meditate
give it
with
at
my
least
bow
50
again.
feet, so you don't blow yourself up again.
Harriet says,
doing
let's
this
go.
fairly
Now you've got a
That's what I'm
boat.
telling
All
you.
you need to do is tame a croc to pull you along. Then you'll
I thought
truly
of
be
using
swamp
that
people.
system that you did.
See, Harriet
But there's a reason
doesn't
I
know
did.
you already tamed a
Mhm.
giant skunk.
I love my dire spell,
So just
And
send all
scorpion.
your SP
but I don't think
at range
What else do we
into an
have?
object per square foot to
Dragonfly.
just shot.
No, that went with
Breakdown. You're basically disintegrating a tree, but it would get rid of a lot of your spell
My-
points if you do it
my,
at range
land
and wide
raven.
space. And honestly, I just want to see you disintegrate a tree.
I know. That was cool. Ground raven, land raven.
My logic is sound. And you gotta do that before it blows you up.
Yeah, so what are you doing with your spell points before you go boom again?
I'm gonna try to cast an enchantment on a tree at least 50 feet.
And then just jump all your surplus into that. So
Yeah,
it's
to make the tree glow and then burst in a flashing light.
How many spell points are you pumping into this? For that range,
going in
it's
the
going to
high-
be at least, I think it's what, 4?
I'm going in the
For that
high.
range effect
Oh, so
modifier?
38
I'm trying to do it at like a far off tree, not
Go
close to
farther,
us,
go farther.
because the blast
Across the river?
Yes, because the blast itself, radius wise, is probably.
How do you get rid of 43 spell points? It's the most functional thing.
I'm only spending out 36, even though actually.
Okay, so
I should
30,
probably,
so
I should probably spend
minus
more.
the 4, so that's 32d6 worth of damage to a tree.
I'm going
Am
in the
I right?
high. Can I go with the
You're
high?
gonna thermonuclear this
Am I
tree.
right?
Yeah.
Alright, you know how we were talking about that sunbeam spell?
Yes.
Okay,
like
here
that.
you go. This beam of light comes down from the heavens itself and just radiates the tree. There's not even a black smudge left. There's just a round hole into the ground
Did he
across
just
the river.
smite a tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna question that. Did he just smite a tree? Fucking Azamar!
Eyes light up.
My character, shrug.
What wasn't fire.
It just vaporized it.
I'm gonna look at you. It wasn't fire.
He's up in a tree.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, so what else are you doing for the other 6 hours? Or 8 hours, I mean?
8?
Yeah, it's
I'll
taking her
read
10
more.
hours to make the boat,
I'll
and she's
read
working
more.
on it alone.
She could ask for help.
Okay.
but-
Nick's working on something with the animals.
I'm gonna go over to Nick and ask him what he's
Knack
doing.
is meditating in the stone hut still.
Okay, I guess I'll go into the stone hut and read more.
Okay.
Just go over to my bedroll and just read more.
After about 5 minutes of being in the hut, you look over at Knack to see something rise out of the ground beneath him into his hand. He puts it in his bag, goes back to meditating.
Not even gonna
About
question it.
10 minutes later, something else rises up out of the stone.
Does
Looks
it
like
make
a
noise?
looks like a piece of metal that he brushes off and sticks in his bag.
What's he doing?
Looks over. I find pretties. Pretty rocks and pretty metals. I never know what the Mother Earth give me, but the Mother Earth give me very pretty things, and then later I cut them and make them look pretty.
You know, it'd be awesome if the ones you don't like, you could sell in the next town and make a little more money.
I like all my pretties.
If you
But
get,
if you want pretties, I can give you some.
I'll
Like,
take some.
what kind of pretties do you want? And he just splays out a collection of uncut gems and raw pieces of ore.
Through my reading, because I feel like this is something I probably would read up on. Which one is the most valuable?
Roll a D100. And I'll let you up to 3 rolls.
11.
Okay, so for that one, you see he has a hunk of carnelian.
The next one was a 29.
Pyrite. Worthless.
What was the first one? Carnelian?
Carnelian.
Carnelian.
Yeah. It's red, kind of milky crystal.
I know what it is.
Since my
And then
soul crystal.
How much
can't
longer
take
would it
too
take if I had been at like some secured seating? Yeah.
I'll include that within the 10 hours.
about 79.
One of the pieces that you see is this beautiful piece of bluish silver.
Can I grab it? Or go to grab it?
Yeah. There's about 10 coins worth of true silver.
True silver.
It's more expensive.
More expensive than gold.
Yeah, at least you can eat the skunk if you get hungry. Harriet says. No?
A lot of good meat on skunks.
No one's touching Punk.
Especially a giant one.
They will
If
have
anyone touches Punk, I will be angry.
Well, there's also a giant
Oh
chicken
no,
to
that's
cook.
Crown Raven isn't mine, but I would. be
Generally,
very
if we're
I'm
traveling on a
so
stealth mission
scared.
across the land, they're all just big meals that we're carrying with us, in my opinion.
Alright, so what were you reading for how many hours?
We have 8 hours left, and I'm well rested, and I don't need sleep. I'm reading for the 8 hours.
Alright, on that sketchbook, how many hours do you have left?
I think that's gonna be the constant
About
mindset my
10?
character's in.
10 hours.
Haha, I am the
After the
danger.
8.
I'm shiny, but dangerous.
I need to do the math.
Hey, you ever see shiny things?
Actually, 8.
8 hours
8
left?
hours. I have 38 hours out of the 48.
So 38 hours.
I have
out-
read 38 hours of this book.
Okay, so after 8 hours, you still have 8 hours left?
Mhm.
Okay, I'll go with that math.
No,
Yeah.
because if I read, oh no, that isn't right.
So, you said that my little crystal
Yep.
thing is, it's definitely glowing.
Gone.
Would I be able to tell that there's, like, what kind of cap I have before it would potentially explode?
It's glowing super bright. Okay?
Yeah.
You put another spell point in it, and it starts to vibrate. That's about the feeling you were getting before that stone blew up. Alright,
So I should be like slightly.
yeah.
Slightly.
There's already 20 spell points in that. Or
18.
18. Plus its own magical properties.
Since it's a living crystal, would I be able to break parts off of it and have it grow those parts back?
You could.
And have, like, shards of crystal with a lot of charged energy in them.
Harry says, blowing up stuff in a swamp. Y'all truly are swamp people in me.
But
Oh, this
then I
is
could
nothing
have,
compared to Foxfield.
like, chunks of living crystal that would be able to break apart.
Let's go with
Wait,
glory
makes
bomb
sense, I
idea
guess.
that I came up with.
Yeah, you could try it.
I like the sound of it.
I said glory
So
bomb
you're
idea.
gonna try and chip off a piece of
Are
your
you reading for 8 hours?
star shard that's
That's-
implanted in the head of your mace.
Now, when you say it like that,
Well-
it sounds like a lot can go wrong.
Why not just ask the Earthbender if
I
there's
have
something
a star
applicable?
shard. It's a pretty large piece.
Actually, yeah.
Can I roll
I'm
for
gonna-
those
Just went
8
through that whole
hours?
conversation too about it.
Magic marbles. The idea you're discussing is like just go ask the Earthbender to give you
Yeah.
some
Oh, shit,
stones
this.
that will
That's
absorb your
actually
magical
true.
energy, carry your pouch of.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask if he would be able to have some kind of
Yeah.
gem
Who?
or nick.
Knack?
Knack. Yes.
You come over to see him with this entire like spread of gems and ore ingots in front of him. Okay, this is what I collect in the last 2 days, sitting here, waiting to decide what you guys are doing. I practice.
Can I make my 8 rolls?
Huh?
Can I make my 8 rolls for 8 hours of studying?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me know anyone that you get that's over a 16, and if you get anything over a 20, and it's Arcana.
Arcana?
With 2 hours left at the end, right?
Yep.
I'm just listening to the keywords and reading fan fiction, so it's all getting jumbled up in a big clusterfuck of storyline.
Sam?
You know, that's perfectly fine,
is
Harriet.
that 20?
Yeah.
That little symbol?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You got a nat 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that one counts.
So I asked Knack if he has
16
any
you
that he
said, right?
thinks are particularly
Anything over 16 or 20s. So what you looking for? What you want?
something that's going to be able to take a lot of energy into it without exploding.
Oh, so you do like Nick does.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick says he wants the shiniest ones because the shiniest ones hold the most.
Okay.
I already gave him my shiniest ones.
Oh. What about ones that you think
No,
would break easily?
can't add them.
Break easily? Oh, sure. Hand you like soda light and a bunch of really fragile stones that you could feel them just about to crumble in your hand. They break real easy.
Now, what about something more in the middle?
Well, what you looking for? He has a collection.
I like
So basically, it's what you want to request of him. And I'll tell you what he has and what value.
that comes in.
Alright, so what do you get for the rolls while he thinks about
The
that?
ones I got to keep was a nat 20, a 22, another 22, and a dirty 20.
That's 4?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so you realize that that alchemical one that you were looking at that you couldn't understand, is actually the recipe for siphoning the essence of life off of another living creature to place it into another living creature. Two versions of it. One which just drains like their actual life essence in years of life to prolong yours, or whoever you feed it to, which can also be used for as a curative thing to cure diseases, stuff like that. The other one is transferring of part of their physical essence, so like abilities or pieces of what they are,
So
which
I can
is what he
steal
was,
abilities from people?
which is what he was working with in order to create the Skek race. Yep, it takes hours to complete. You have to basically destroy whatever creature you're taking it from either way. And then whatever essence is left will be bottled up.
Yep. Drinkable.
Okay. It also requires a full lab worth of equipment in order to pull it off. Far beyond your alchemical skills at this point.
Yeah.
You now have a fairly decent understanding of the Skeksy language. And you realize that the person that wrote this book was over 2,000 years old and had been working on this research for about 1,500 years on this world. And there's also notes at the end of it about how he had reservations about the deal, but was willing to do it to stop the bloodshed. In hopes that no one will betray the cause. Because he knows if anyone did, he'd be blamed. Because of the history that they already had.
What time would it be in game now?
It's getting up to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Only 4? After my 8 hours?
Yeah, you guys got up at like
Morning.
sunrise.
Can I finish? Just spend another 2 hours until dinner and...
Yeah. Okay.
I asked him what gems does he have the most of? Does he find more often?
I find all kinds of random ones. So, what color you like?
Clear.
Okay, he hands
Blue?
you 2 diamonds uncut
Okay.
and a sapphire uncut.
Okay.
You want them shiny?
I don't care. They'll be shiny enough when I'm done with them.
Nick says they're better when shiny.
I feel like Nick's selling them. No. What is Nick doing with them? I can ask him later. No, I did not pass those.
Okay. Well, I'll take them shinier then if he says they're better that way.
Okay, I have them ready for you in morning.
Okay.
I gotta polish a bunch of these.
Can I also go over to Nick and ask
Yes.
him?
You see Nick is sewing gems into the saddles and basic gear of the animals.
Okay.
And you can sense the energy coming off of each of these faceted, beautiful gems.
I finished the book though,
Okay.
even if I didn't understand much of it.
Yeah, you have no idea what you were reading, but you understand Skeksis now. It's just the last part was such complicated formula that it's right over your head as to what the hell he was talking about.
Gonna ask him about why he has these all sewn up onto the animals.
Oh, each one enchanted with different things.
Ah.
Okay, this one makes sure that they rest okay. This one brings up their awareness. This one makes it so that if they get hurt, they heal. This one so I don't have to feed them because Scorpion is a pain in the ass to feed. So this way he just magic heal him. Make it easier.
And which gems would you say hold the most?
All gems are good, but it comes down to like the quality of gem. The more quality of gem, the more power you can put in gem before it goes boom. Like what I saw you do earlier. Glad you got brought back. That could have been very messy.
Oh, yeah.
When it starts vibrating, that's too much.
Okay.
When it starts to get warm, that's when you know you've put enough in it.
Okay.
And the way he breaks it down and shows you information, it comes down to an item will roughly hold 1 spell point worth of magic, basically, for every 10 gold it's worth.
Okay.
Like the gems that are worth 250 gold, you can hold 25 spell points before they start breaking.
Okay.
But he usually recommends to go a little bit less than that, just to make sure.
But it doesn't break.
Yep.
Okay.
Alright, so, about 6 o'clock now. Nobody went for food, so it's just trail rations. Nothing else came into view. Everything stayed pretty far away. You guys don't sense anything or see anything. The Zasmine comes over to let you guys know the raft is done. And when she brings you all over to it, this thing is solid as a rock and looks like it was grown straight out of the earth itself in the form of a barge. It's got cute little handrails on the sides with flowers, a little hut in it, seats that are built into it, a couple rudder stations in the back with long poles to steer it around with, an actual like rudder thing because she saw it in a book once.
Does it work?
Oh, it floats.
No, the rudder under the
And
water.
there's enough room for the animals on it. Right?
Not sure. You'd have to test it out.
The first time making this, I have no idea if it's gonna work.
She's happy it floats.
Well, it floats, so it's really all that matters.
Okay, I remembered what you rolled, so I used that for part of the description. Okay, this thing is like a floating house with room for all the mounts in the front. So if you get attacked again, they'll get hit first.
Reasonable body shield.
You didn't think about that part until.
I get the move forward though, so they'll be protected.
So, are you guys going to spend another night here,
Yeah, we'll spend
or
another
are you
night.
going to set off right away?
We'll spend we could
Better
set
to
off.
go out during the day when we have visibility. At night,
Yeah,
traveling a
and get
river
some-
path could be dangerous. Wouldn't be able to see obstructions. We might get attacked. So we'd have to leave during daylight.
Yeah.
I'll suggest that we take. I'll take primal watch. I'll get some.
So you'll take third watch?
Yeah, I'll sleep before that. Try to rest
Okay,
up.
who's taking first watch then?
I'll take first watch.
Okay, you're 2 of you? Alright, are you redoing the fire for the day?
Just for the night.
Yeah, I'll redo it for the night.
Okay.
So it should go out by 1.
Are you having further conversation with Nick?
He can teach me more about enchanting, right?
Yeah. One thing he does explain to you is that if you don't know the spell, then he can if you can cast it, he can transfer it into an object.
Say that one more time.
Even if he doesn't know the spell, if someone else can cast it, he can transfer that casting into an object. This is something you've never heard of with your enchanting before. He's talking about how to actually put spell-like abilities onto objects and then add charges.
I asked him if it would be possible that I would be able.
With work, yes. Okay. You study with him for the night while he's still enchanting stones?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so make a Arcana roll. What are you doing?
Nothing really.
Okay.
I probably
You...
went to sleep
And
for
keeping
the
an
night.
eye out.
Yeah, you're doing first watch.
So I have to perception.
Yep.
10.
10? Yeah, you're not noticing much of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Luckily, nothing happens throughout the night. I rolled low.
I got 15.
15?
No problem.
You get the general idea of what he's trying to convey to you.
Mhm.
So with that, you now better understand how you could cast like light into an object. And when you cast in the ability for it, it doesn't count towards the charge cast. Okay?
So
But
I'd be able
you can
to
only put
cast
one
it.
ability per item.
Okay.
So like you could choose, pick up a rock and put the ability of light into it. You put one spell point into it and it has a chance of blowing up, but it has a spell point of the light spell, for example. Or you put it into a gem and you have a gem that could cast your radiant glare, or however many charges you put into it.
The gem falls down, and as the crack splits across the gem, a small beam comes out and hits the enemy in the face.
I mean, that you just doing, you put enough charges into it to do an AoE light grenade that causes burn damage, blinding, and.
Or you just pull it out and cast it right off of the spell point costs that are in there. Or hand it off to someone else and now they can cast your beam by just letting the spell points go.
Mm-hmm.
So you get an idea better of how the magical items work. Yeah. And he shows you that the spells that he's doing were little cantrip abilities that he was taught from different other people, none of which have any real benefit or power to them except for like long term. So like one that he gave for the animals is endurance, so that they can walk for longer. Okay, but it wouldn't have a huge effect on you or any of the other people, other than you can now walk for longer, with less of a athletics bonus, I think it is. The most powerful one that he shows you is one that actually, per charge, gives the bearer of it a day's worth of sustenance. As if they're fully rested, kind of like a good berry spell. Gives them full food and water for the day and makes them feel rested for eating it.
And it would be just one spell charge?
Yep, per day to use it. And he proudly tells you how each one has like 10 charges in it, so they're all set for 10 days for food, water, everything else, and he doesn't even have to worry about it. As well as the fact that he also has a summoning to have them all come to you, or whoever is holding this trigger item he's carrying. He's got them well trained at this point.
Yeah.
But if that's all, then I think we're pretty much at the call it a night.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've learned about enchanting. During the whole night, there's no real activity.
I rolled a 23 on my perception for the overnight. So.
There's no real activity overnight. You guys have big enough fires to chase away the animal life. And the only powerful enemy in the area you Molly wants a good portion of, so they're not in any hurry to come back at you.
Wouldn't be wise when we're now fortified.
Yeah. Alright, so...
You know what we're doing a little bit more?
We're going to leave it here. Thank you. I will say this actually was a pretty fun RP game. I look forward to seeing what happens next. Alright, I thank you all for coming, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening. I shall see you next week.